What happens to my money when I die? And there was actually kind of follow up to this too. What if I can't make decisions for myself? So there's the loss of mental capacity issue here while you are still living, and then of course being deceased. What happens to your money after you die? And that really the answer to that is up to you now to determine that, because you have great amount of control if you take the proper steps in planning.
Absolutely. And we see real mistakes happen all the time in this. We have people come in with accounts from maybe other institutions or what have you, and they don't have a beneficiary, or they have their ex-spouse as a beneficiary, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of train wrecks that can go on with what happens to my money if I die. One of the biggest ones is where you have a husband and wife have a non-qualified or a joint tenants account, but there is no transfer on death. So if something were to happen to the husband and the wife at the same time, which does happen far too often, then that money goes into probate. And that can be a real expensive and a real time-consuming process.
And it doesn't even have to happen at the same time. If the surviving spouse just doesn't go and update things,
Yes,
then that can happen as well. And I'll also say, I would say, guys, we see this a lot on bank accounts. Like, it is very common. You have a husband and wife jointly owned bank account, and they don't have a payable on death designation at the bank. My husband and I were recently doing some paperwork at a bank, and I asked about having a payable on death designation, and they had a new person working with me, and so I understand that. But the guy looked at me real funny, and he said, "Oh, you just go to the courthouse and handle that when later on." And I was like, "No, we just do a payable on death designation now, and then nobody has to go through probate." It's a big difference. So be sure you take care of that.
Well, hang out on that for just a second. I know that there are some companies in our industry that actually charge per year to have a transfer or payable on death designation on their non-qualified accounts. We don't do that here at GenWealth. LPL Financial, our broker-dealer, doesn't do that. No institution we work with does that, but there are those out there that do charge for that, and I think that's really egregious in my mind.